Welcome back, guys. So I believe this is now episode 5 and I want to show you how I put in the ply floor. Now remember, in one of the previous videos I said I'd keep the original floor and I'd use that as a template. So what I'm going to do first is just chop out the area, because obviously there's going to be about 5mm to 10mm extra where I put the insulation around the wheel arches. So I'm just going to size it up, put it in the original ply, that is, and then obviously just chop out what I need to make that fit, so that when it comes to using the template, I'm not going to be chopping the 12mm ply wrong. I'd rather get it wrong on the original, if that makes sense. So a quick recap as to where we are now. Obviously episode 1 I believe was gutting it out. You can watch all these videos if you go on my channel. Episode 2 was then soundproofing and sound deadening, insulating. Episode 3 would have been building the timber frame for the floor, and then episode 4 was the dramatic putting the windows in, which we all know went, or could have gone, drastically wrong. Now what I didn't show on that video was putting the adhesive on and also putting the second window in. An hour later the sun came out and I put the second window in, and I can say and can confirm they've stayed in, so thank God for that. But if you keep watching this video, what I'm going to be doing, as I say, is putting the ply floor in and showing you exactly how I do it. So as you can see, guys, we have windows 1, 2. I'm going to show you this one. I do apologise for rushing the last video, but because of the rain, obviously I was in panic mode and I had to get it on. And there is the second. So yes, I'm a happy man. They've stayed in. I was not so confident, but it's been a couple of days now, and well, they're in, so happy days. What we're going to start off doing is just hoovering all the reminiscence of where I've cut the windows, because foolishly I didn't put anything down. So I'm going to get all this hoovered out before I apply the old floor. As I say, just trim it down, make sure we get this one right, so that the 12mm ply, which will be the permanent floor, is not wrong. So first I'm just going to pop this one in and see where it sits and how it sits in comparison to how it was before. See, and as we can see, because obviously I've put the insulation on, it's not fitting too well now. So what I'm going to have to do is just take a little bit out of here and basically like 5 or 10mm around. But it's very important I do this on the template and not on the new one, because I don't want to get the new one wrong. The new one has to be perfect, or as good as it can be, because I ain't no carpenter. But we'll give it a go. So as you can see now, I've just marked off roughly 10mm all the way around, and we'll get that chopped. With any luck, that will fit. It doesn't fit. I don't know what's stopping it. Let me see. It looks like maybe I've done it a bit too big, I'm not too sure. Maybe if I just take a little trimming off here, and then maybe that'll fit. As I said, carpentry, it's not my first skill. Okay, so it does fit relatively okay for my standard. The only problem I have come across is this here. Now the edge doesn't quite meet. That's not a problem. It's not a problem, we can fix that. What I'll have to do is maybe split the board somewhere along there and have a slightly longer piece just to make sure that it gets to the edge. It's not about getting things right all the time, but it's about getting past the problems. Now it's going to be a case of rinse and repeat. So we'll get the other board in and we'll see how that sizes up. Again, it should be just a trim around that wheel arch really. And then once I'm happy with that, I've got a good template, other than obviously adding the little bit on the end to make sure that the floor reaches the last piece of wood going across, so it's a solid floor, not a flappy little piece of wood. To be honest with you, that fits okay anyway. So actually it works out pretty well. I've just done a measurement from the front where the bulkhead was to the end where my little bit of timber is, and that is 2.4. Pretty certain these lengths of ply come in at 2.4, so if it does, I don't need to split them, because what I was considering was splitting in the middle to be able to get to the edge. I don't think I'm going to have to do that, so that'll be great. Time shall tell. And just to add to this video, I am only cutting this and temporarily putting it down, because before I put the ply down, I'm going to be carpeting so that the carpet goes beyond the floor, so it's a nice neat finish. So this is just a temporary bit of work while I've got time to get this prepped and ready, because I'm sick of treading around these little bits of timber. And also I'm going to chuck some aluminium foil or aluminium tape on top of the bits of timber, so that no damp can transfer, if ever there is any. There shouldn't be, but we'll play it safe. So we're off to spend some more money. So we're going to go to the ply shop now and get the ply that we need. 12mm ply for the floor. One thing I do want to add is, if you are doing a conversion like me and you have no idea what wood or what you need, and you go to a timber yard, don't be scared to ask them, because I mentioned that I was doing a van conversion to these guys and they pointed me in the right direction, because would you believe it, loads of people are doing these right now, so they actually have a good idea, and it might be worth just giving them the nod and telling them what you're doing, because they will help you out. Let's go get this ply. So we have got the ply, and today is a new day because, well, I have to work, but it's in the back, it's ready, and we're going to be doing it today. Today's the weekend, so I've got the full day on it. So I'm going to be doing the ply today and also doing the carpet lining, which will be another video. But look at it outside. It's literally like a sheet of ice. Not ideal weather to be doing this, but we must proceed. In for the usual trip for milk. Well, look at this. -5. Better get me long johns on. So what I'm going to do now is just use this aluminum tape and just tape all these little bits of timber up, as I said before, just in case there is any moisture or anything come through, which there shouldn't be really, but it's better to be safer than sorry. So I've just had to go and get some more because I ran out. But Screwfix do these, I think about £4, 50mm wide, 45 metres worth of aluminium tape. Pretty good stuff. Right, so as you can imagine, you know what I'm going to be doing now. Going around with my trusty IKEA pencil. If you go there, you can get these for free, believe it or not. I'm going to be drawing around the template, remembering to leave that little bit at the edge to meet at the bottom. So here goes. Be happy with that. There's a bit of a gap here, but probably put some expanding foam or something there, I don't know. Just fill that gap out. But remember, this is all going to be covered anyway. So let's get on to the next one. Let's try and make this one fit better. I've got to get the tape measure out. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there. So we want to add around 20mm onto this piece. If I right there, 20mm that way, it's going to be roughly the same there, but we'll take it over We'll go 25 mil there. In fact, to be honest, 20 mil should do it. So if we turn it to a 20, same again all round, look, so here, really we just need to be adding 20 mil onto each end. And then again, remember, we need to take this over. Well, that one's over now. Once they're both over, I'll mark and I'll cut them both as I want to. Let's see if this works. Just a few minor adjustments, but I don't think it's too far off. Not bad, really. So all we've got to do really is just trim these little bits where the rubbers are. As you can see, I didn't mark out for them. And it's just a little bit tight here, maybe just a little bit out of there. Not a bad effort, I don't think. Dino the carpenter! Not a bad effort, that, I don't think. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. That's not too bad for me. I'm actually relatively happy with that. This comes to the edge nicely, as we can see. Nice snug fit. Beautiful. Now all I need to do is mark this and trim that down. And that is our floor ready, prepped. And there we have it. So that's the floor in. As you can see, it's all nice and flush, just how we wanted it. Okay, it's not perfect, but I don't claim to be perfect, but it's good enough for me. Goes nicely to the edge, so we can put a bit of trim on the edge of there. And as I've said before, this is just temporary for now. It's just to be prepped for ready to go in, because next we're doing the 4-way stretch lining carpet with the adhesive. And I've also got some spotlights and some wires to temporarily put in, or at least place the wires where I need them. But that'll be in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. That's how I've done my floor. Take it easy. Goodbye.